them to me. And then I just helped them, and I get on the phone and have a conversation and help them get situated on the front end. And then I would send them this product. And then weeks later, they're thanking me and sending me their pictures and telling me how their health is changing. So here we go. Post your takeaways in the chat roll. If you're listening via live cast, please pop on over to our Facebook community. Share your takeaways after the webinar. And I got to tell you, Sheila is a self-taught and sought-out, respected world educator on CBDs all over the world. You wouldn't believe the scientists, the doctors, even Mayo, people having her come into hospitals, come in and administrate to children. And she's made a huge impact, not only with the lives of very serious health condition situations, but also for people that know they're manifesting something. And many of you that are here today, you know your body doesn't feel right. And that's your first clue that something is wrong. Something is wrong. And so that is when the Holy Spirit in my own world tunes into the body, and the body says, listen, there's something that we need to do differently. But what I will tell you about her award-winning product, you'll hear about her award-winning product. More importantly, it's her processes, it's her protocols, it's her tools that partner with the product that made a huge difference. Even more disturbing for me is when we will hear, and I will hear these stories of how people's health condition completely changed, and then a doctor saying, this is a miracle. I think we might want to do a dose of chemotherapy or radiation just to make sure it doesn't come back. And then to hear her say, it is so tough for me to hear that, because I have to ask them questions and help them make a decision that's right for them, and that I know there's motive there. And that is huge. So whether it's a chemo or radiation or pharmaceutical drug, I'm going to tell you, her programs and processes have changed the lives for many, many people. Sheila, welcome. You're on. Let's make sure her video is on. Audra, all you got to do is go to the original, stop the screen sharing, and she'll pop up. And can you hear me? Can you hear me, Sheila?
Yeah, we.
Okay, babe. Yeah, if you stop the screen share.
Do you want me to talk about my grandma?
Oh, I do. Where did that go? I cannot believe that. Okay, yeah, I definitely want you to talk about your grandma. Absolutely.
Because we were just gonna. It's kind of amazing before we get into this incredible interview with Ava. I'm sorry?
It's the best story ever.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So I'm just getting all this stuff out of the way. So this is my grandma. If you guys can see it, just let us know in the chat roll. This is my grandma. She's 84 years old. And I did this picture because I didn't ever look at her 3 years ago to now. But this is her. You can kind of see 3 years ago. She's got a lot of inflammation. Her skin is kind of looking old. If you saw her eyes, I wish I would have taken a picture of her eyes. Her eyes looked almost like discolored. She has really dark brown eyes, and they were almost like grayish in the center, and the brown was fading all the way out to the ring. If you look at her eyes now, they are dark brown again. It is so crazy. You can tell a lot from looking at the eyes, you know. But now, a few weeks ago, I took this picture of her at the casino. You can see the difference in her skin. People thought she was 65 the other day when I took her out to dinner.
Just so much vitality, too, now.
So yeah, her whole energy has shifted, and I put together a little story about this that, you know, it's a little long for me to talk about everything on this webinar. So be looking for an article that I have written about her coming out on our blog, the Awareness Alert, in the next month or so. I'll go ahead and finish that. But let me find my notes. I have a lot of things open that you can't see. Here we go.
I'll tell you, I was just in St. Louis, and I took Audra. She's just done incredible with Body Temple. I took her to Fleetwood Mac, and I hadn't seen Barbara for a while. And while I was there for 4 days, she read a 560-page book. She's as alert as all get out, but she's been on, you know, pharmaceutical drugs for years, and then it just changed when Audra took ownership of that. And here's the story.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because literally she was a zombie when I moved her here with me, and now she's read all my books. I have all these science books, and she's read almost every single book on my bookshelf too. I mean, she's totally changed. So at 37 years old, I'm 37 right now in 2018. So far in my lifetime, I've had a close friend show up at my doorstep with 47 prescription bottles from pharmaceuticals that were prescribed to him via like medical doctors, psychologists, mostly over the course of a short period of like 2 to 4 years. I've had a partner that was prescribed and overprescribed again, an antidepressant pharmaceutical that almost ruined her life. The doctor in this case was later stripped of his medical license. I have had several friends and their family members die from various forms of cancer. My uncle died of cancer. My friend in high school, the head cheerleader, died of cancer. That's a whole nother story I'll write about. Many of my mother's clients have died from cancer. Most of the situations could have totally been rectified if it wasn't for pharmaceutical drugs and the medical industry's standard procedure for dealing with cancer diagnosis. When I was about 16 years old, I moved my grandmother out of an assisted living facility into an apartment because my grandfather had Alzheimer's and it had degraded so bad that he had to move into the other side of the building with the other Alzheimer's patients. And of course, my grandma is like 14 years younger and wasn't going to live over there with the Alzheimer's patients ward, you know. So as I was moving her furniture to the new apartment, I noticed a drawer with a ton of pharmaceutical bottles. And it wasn't until I was putting the drawer back into this particular oak dresser that I noticed this really huge, giant, bigger bottle than I've ever seen before. So I took it out, and the bottle was filled with what looked like hundreds of white little flat round pills. So I turned it around, I looked at the label, and it read methadone. Why is my grandma taking this drug, and why does she have so many? Hundreds of them. I did an internet search to figure it out. You know, back then we didn't Google things. We just did an internet search. So after I looked up methadone, I decided to write down a list of every single drug that she was taking and what each of them were for. So after I did this, I counted how many she was taking, and I couldn't believe it. She was literally on 21 different pharmaceutical pills. To me, I was just shocked. Like,
Is that where we get the 800 billion? Crazy.
I know, right? So it was me. Now I'm in high school. It was me, a child in high school, that realized that she was taking two pills that actually counteracted each other. She was taking a blood thickener and a blood thinner. I called her cardiologist. I called her general practitioner. They both agreed and kind of, you know, obviously felt bad and were like, yeah, that's right. They just weren't communicating with each other. And this happens all the time. My grandma is currently 84 and was born with a heart murmur. She's had 3 open heart surgeries, broken her ankles, broken her hip, has half a kneecap on one knee, and had a botched back surgery before I was born, in which they couldn't complete because she started to bleed so bad. So they just stitched her back up. So it's no wonder that she trusted what the doctors told her to do. You know, that's the problem comes in though for most when one is only supposed to be on painkillers or antidepressants for most people for a short amount of time while your body's either healing or your brain starts to create its own happy drugs like norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, and such, with the small exception of people that need help creating those things regularly because they have like a genetic issue or some other long-term problem. But that's not most people. Most of the time, you are supposed to wean off so that your brain, your nerves, and the human body can take those processes back over for you. This doesn't always get communicated by the doctor and certainly not the patient. So my grandmother is from a different generation where you were taught to trust your doctor, that they all know what they're doing better than you ever will. But unfortunately, blindly trusting your doctor, or anyone really for that matter, is not always the best solution. That's what I've learned anyway. So the human body, we all know, and I'm just going to remind us, it's a miraculous thing on its own. We actually have self-healing mechanisms built into our human body. And one of those major systems that Sheila's going to talk about within our human body is the endocannabinoid system. It's just like the endocrine system. We have these systems, you know, the endocrine system regulates hormones. That's like your thyroid and everything. Well, the endocannabinoid system is involved in regulating a variety of physiological issues like cognitive processes, including fertility, pregnancy, during pre- and postnatal development, appetite, pain sensation, mood, memory, like things we need as humans. That's what the endocannabinoid system does. I always knew that eventually I'd move my grandmother in with me. I had a plan to get my grandmother off pharmaceuticals, but she was in Oregon and I'd moved to NYC and then St. Louis for the past decade. So an opportunity arose to move her here after I started building my health restaurant. 3 years ago, I went to go fetch her. She had been with me ever since. And when I first brought her here, she was on too many pills again. One of them was even for dementia, which she didn't have. And after going through her pantry and fridge, I realized she was completely dehydrated. She wasn't drinking water at all. She was only drinking a drink called Propel, which is like a Gatorade with electrolytes and high sodium levels. It had 180 milligrams of sodium per bottle. She was drinking 2 to 3 of those a day and no water for I don't even know how many years, maybe 5, 6, more than that. She did get off alcohol, though, a year prior to that. That was a big deal for her. So now I'm like, she's not even drinking water. Crazy. So anyway, those drinks are meant for people that are like working out. They need to replace their electrolytes, their sodium levels, not grandmas sitting in front of the TV or playing cards with their friends, right? So she was also consuming way too much sugar. She was totally addicted. I started the process of weaning her off sugar first by replacing the high sugar things she was eating with low sugar items that had more health benefits like protein and fiber. So the story, again, it's longer than I want to go into right now.
Now,
but
talk about where the CBDs came in and what all.
Yeah. So here's the next part. So it was
before you go there, I want you to all hear something. She was an advocate for somebody. She didn't just sit back and watch somebody go through problems. And some of you that are here today and listening, that's your job. You know, when you have that compelling spirit like Audra had, I can't believe the difference in this woman. And that's where we step up and we say, okay, am I just watching this happen to my grandmother, my friend, my neighbor? You know, step in, be an advocate, especially after you hear what you hear. Go ahead, Audra, wrap that up.
Yes, exactly. You know, and I replaced her unhealthy habits with healthy choices. So that was the first step. And then it was a 3-year process to get her off of opioids. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that now when I got her from Oregon, she was on this super high dose of Oxycontin, which I didn't know about. So from 40 milligrams of Oxycontin down to 35, down to 30, down to 25, and so on. This year, just a few months ago, as we were down to 10 milligrams a day, I started giving her our Pure CBD product called Exceed, which you're going to hear a little bit more about. And Sheila's our formulator. So as the CBD started to help her repair her body's cells, I was getting worried that she may have to be on some form of this drug for the rest of her life because her moods were starting to shift. Like it was like a like somebody that was not her that would just lash out as she was weaning off this drug. So you have to have support somehow. But it was difficult for me too, to see my grandma like that, you know? But I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank one of the top 100 geriatric doctors in the nation, Dr. Mark Gumby, because he has been so incredibly supportive during this whole plan that I came up with. And if you are planning to do this, I strongly urge you to do your research and find a good doctor that will support you in the process. It could be really detrimental to you to try to do something like this completely on your own. If you're on high doses, if you're on something that can kill you. I mean, it really can in certain cases. So you really need at least 2 people to help support you, a good doctor and a really supportive friend or family member. And that's why we created Body Temple. We are here to help. We have coaches. So Dr. Gumby said, okay, let's just take it away completely. We then gave her a class 2 drug, tramadol, which is much less addictive, just temporarily. Now she's also off half of that and has more, because of these CBDs, I'm telling you, like I looked at her eyeballs. I could tell the difference in her eyeballs. She has more energy, more brain power.
She's so damn young. I can't believe her. Like I couldn't believe she was 84 and then been through all of that.
Right.
Well, Audra, we want to move into our interview because we're getting a little behind, but this is such a profound story. It's such a good example of what it means to just not take this information in and think about ourselves, but rather, who can we help?
So the benefits of CBDs have totally helped transform my grandmother's health. It's brought her back to life, from opioid zombie to cannabinoid hombre, lover of life, life enthusiast. She can't get enough. So now I'm just going to turn it back over to Steve.
Great. So you can stop sharing and we're ready to roll.
To our acclaimed international CBD expert and our formulator, Sheila Goligly. And of course, my Body Temple partner. health expert and life coach, Steve Q. Wilshire. Take it away.
Thank you for sharing the story. It just touches my heart. And hey, a huge congratulations, Sheila. Gosh, I heard that your recent award on your salve formulation, being one of the top 5 experts in the U.S. Okay, Sheila, you with us? Do we see her with us? I don't know that I see her. Is she on? I can't. She evidently can't get back in. There's something going on, or she can't get back in. Okay. Well, we need our crew. Let's. Why don't you just let me handle this on my end and go ahead and keep them entertained. Here we go.
I just realized that I was muted. That I muted
Okay,
myself
cool. Yeah,
to talk.
we're
So
gonna
I'm
keep taking
talking and
care.
talking. I'm like, why is nobody answering me? Hi guys. So if you, well, we get Sheila back on here. If you guys have any questions, you want to like put them in the chat, or I'll write them down. We're gonna have a Q&A at the end of this. We're also gonna share that link for the ebook that Steve wrote about how he got himself off of, you know, without drugs, he diminished his anxiety and depression and everything. So we'll send you that link. I am just learning how to use Zoom for webinars. I use so many other programs for it. And so if you guys can be a little patient with me, I'm going to.
Hey, Sheila, you know what? We lost her as a participant. Can you go to the bottom bar where it says
I'm going to flip it back over to you. How's that? And then you can, because you know how to use this. You use it all the time.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. Thank you, baby.
Yes. And that is where I found.
Thanks to everybody for being patient. Yeah, technology happens anymore, right? It's like all this great stuff. And so, yeah, just give me the screen and then.
You are now the host.
Okay, babe. Here we go. Got it.
And now I will stop screen sharing.
Okay.
I think you have to okay that, I believe.
Exit full screen. Yeah, chat roll participants. Here we go. We'll make Sheila the. Thanks for being patient with us all. Okay, participants. Attendees. It just has a life of its own. Don't you love that? And that has just a life of its own. You want to hear this interview? Okay.
Well, they're still sticking with us. It's so important too, because Sheila is one of my favorite people on the planet, and she is a freaking genius. I don't use that word lightly, but this woman.
Oh, and what she always constantly says is, God just has blessed me with. For some reason, can't grab that bar. Okay, here we go. Sheila, I think you're going to have to. Let me just see if I can see you here. And here you are. Praise God. God is good. Okay, panelists. Here we go. Okay, so we want to get out of the screen share. And it's not looking like, how do I get out of here? I can't. And I have access, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have access to stop it. You have to stop it.
I want the big.
Hi, okay. Sheila.
Here we go. Well, I can see her in the corner.
I see her too.
I got a mute button now.
Yay, hello.
Wow, thank gosh.
There we go. You know what? It has a life of its own. Hey, you guys, thanks for hanging out. Let's talk about your awards. Beautiful. One thing that I love about Sheila, you walk into her home and there's angels all over. And then you walk into her office and you see this big whiteboard with all of these formulas. And I'm like, what are these? And she's like, oh, they're all my formulas. Many, many years. She studied CBDs from 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I'm on mute or video. Till 8 o'clock for years and years and years and years. And it all started because she had an accident. She was in a head-on collision, had a very prestigious business called Global Media, still does. did a lot of the reproduction for all these stars and companies and country western singers. And she's in a head-on collision with a illegal immigrant, and she has surgery, neck's all messed up. You'll hear that. They say you can't walk, you'll never be able to walk again, and goes through months in the hospital and months of rehabilitation. And she's got will. I got to tell you, she's got will, and was able to eventually walk barely, athlete before all of this. And when she started to get better, they said, you got some serious lymph issues around your spine. And that's where the whole research started to come in for herself. And then what she bought was not what they said she bought. And so she finally just got smart and took it to a friend that owned a lab. And they said, oh, well, what you have in this isn't what they say you have in this. We're going back many, many years ago. And then through that process, just found her own formulator in New Zealand and Germany. And she, bought a lot of products. She has a lot to buy, and she just bought it. And when she would run into people that were sick or having problems, she's like, try this, just gifting it out. Just like Robin Hood, just gifting it out. And all of a sudden, her health completely changed. Talk about your award. Talk about your journey here, babe.
Well, first I want to thank you and Audra, because it's people like us that study and keep our head down in the books and to the grind because of all of the things that happen to people that just don't have the knowledge or understanding. So thank you, Steve and Audra, for doing this podcast, not just for the information reasons, but just for philanthropy reasons. I know you're doing it on your time. So thank you for that. As far as the words go, I don't really pay much attention to them. I am humbled by it. I'm very honored by being top 5 in the entire country as far as cannabis education and formulating. And our germs, of course, they speak for themselves. So it doesn't surprise me that the product itself won the award.
We can't even keep them in.
I know. Yeah. So as far as that goes, I'm appreciative and stuff like this. Is there something specific that you want?
I want to talk about your recovery. What I seriously, I cannot believe the adversity that you've had in your life, and your success has come out of 2 words that you use all the time: doing the right things for the right reasons. And so, you have the serious, you were an athlete before, you were a firefighter before, a volunteer firefighter. And then all of a sudden you're not supposed to walk. And then you go through this recovery, they say it's a miracle. And then you got this lymph issue. And then you started studying CBDs, when you look at your process and your recovery from your accident, and I want you to talk about your recent foot issue, because that to me speaks volumes.
I'm gonna elaborate just a little bit on what happened to me with my broken neck. I broke C3 all the way down to T2, by the way, and was in the hospital for more than a year. C4 was in my spinal cord, so I was completely paralyzed from the neck down. I was in 15-hour surgery stat with rods and pins and screws, and then they flipped me over and rebuilt the entire front of me with a cadaver body. And I did come out completely paralyzed from the neck down on the right-hand side. So when Steve talks about this, I hear people, when I talk to people, and I've talked to thousands of people over the course of 10 years, and they don't have hope. They talk about this word hope, and it actually still makes me tear up, because when I was in my wheelchair for 2 years, losing all muscle in my right arm and my leg, and trying to wheel down the hallway in this hospital for a year, moving only my left side, I can empathize with them all. And when I was in the hospital, of course, they administered methadone to me and morphine to me. Unbeknownst, of course, I was out of it for quite some time. But coming back and being alert, I was then and only then able to start working with, sorry, my granddaughter's walking in here. No, go. No, sorry about that. I just got my
You're a grandma. That's what you live for, right?
But anyways, that helped me from welling up anymore. But long story short, I started seeking out cannabis because I had already started studying it. And as Steve mentioned, I did get 2 different bottles of it. I'm not going to say any names. One of them's already out of business because they were being a fraud. But I was able to take those CBDs. And when I went into my lymph specialist, she couldn't she couldn't believe that there was no fluid on my spine, because I had to constantly go in and massage the spine, because if any fluid got in there, then I would have no right of recovery at all. So at the end of the day, when I went back in for the corrective surgery, my body healed after taking CBDs that I started formulating for myself, because Brenda, the girl that owned the lab, the bottle that I spent $200 on and said it was 500 milligrams was only 20 milligrams. And then I bought a second bottle that was $200 that said there was 500 milligrams, and there wasn't any at all. So it was completely, and it wasn't documented, it wasn't tested. CBDs don't have to be tested in a lab. That's another thing about Body Temple that I love, because Steve makes sure that everything goes through the laboratory testing as well as the manufacturing process, so you know exactly what's in the bottle and exactly what you're getting. But now, thanks to that, in a lot of physical therapy and the grace of God, of course, I was able to spend a month in Peru and hiked Machu Picchu and rock climbed the Sacred Valley. So thank God for that.
So, hey, at the very end, because I want to stay on time, I want you to tell everybody about your foot, because you were supposed to have surgery on your foot, and you just kept plugging with those CBDs, and your doctor's like, right away, she said, I'm not gonna have to have surgery. He goes, yes, you are. And, my God. And then,
this is after taking CBDs for quite a long time. You have to understand, because I recently moved out of the valley near my son, so I could be near my kids and my grandkids, and unfamiliar with the property. We had a storm in Arizona. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're quite extravagant here. Lost all power, walked out down my path to flip the breaker, and the construction workers had left all these this equipment and hoses and stuff everywhere. So I fell over that, fell on top of it. My body went one way, my leg went the other, broke my fibula all the way up 6 inches, my ankle joint, my shin bone, and all the ligaments were torn from the bone. So you can imagine how that should have felt had there been inflammation in my body. I went in, the doctor said I was completely messed up. He put a cast on it because that's all they could do, and come back in 2 weeks, get another CT, and he would schedule me for a surgery date. So I went back after 2 weeks, and he sent my CT to 3 different radiologists because they couldn't believe how quickly it was healing. The bones were already starting to come back together too fast for them to actually go in and have to do surgery on it. He told me I would be in a cast until October 28th, and I was out of the cast within 4 weeks.
That's incredible.
That has to do with inflammation. Inflammation is the biggest culprit in our bodies. So
yeah, let's talk about that. I know in service of time we've had some issues with technology and stuff, and I want to just really honor people's questions and remind you, if you have any questions, put them in the Q&A box. But so you've got a ton of success stories. So I've seen them myself. Jessica, my client with 4 kids, has Lyme's disease. It's undetectable. It goes on and on to see these different stages of cancer reversed, all these serious conditions. But people are just wanting CBDs, of course, for anti-aging. When I look at how much younger, I'm 55. I'm going to be 55 in about 5 months. And my doctor just continually says, oh my gosh, you have no inflammation in your body. Things are so different. You talk about CBDs and what they're suspended in, and that this is really what people are looking for and they're not aware. Can you elaborate on that?
I'm glad you brought that up. And the most important thing about this call actually is people are seeking out CBDs on the internet, in smoke shops, some dispensaries, of course, but you don't really know what to buy. Just like I didn't know what to buy when it first happened to me. And there's so many products out there now that are actually more harmful than good. So be very diligent, do your homework before you make a purchase. That's the most important thing. CBDs are only as good as what they're suspended in. And that's something that you need to, if you learn nothing else, you need to understand that if it's suspended in something that's artificial or sugar or any additives that are made from extracts, it can be a lot more harmful than good. So you can't just go on the internet. One CBD does not fit all. Things to look for. A majority of them out there right now are suspended in glycerin. Glycerin is a byproduct of biodiesel. anybody that's got, and this is from experience, anybody that has any type of diabetes, anything in their CBC or their complete blood count panel, cholesterol, triglyceride, blood pressure, and the most important of all, seizures, gene mutations. If you take a CBD that is suspended in that type of a soluble, it will exacerbate the challenge. Another one I've seen out there, and by the way, this isn't minor. People are seeking out CBDs because they hear that it's good for seizure activity, autism, which it is when it's clean and when it's administered properly. We were teaching at a symposium in Las Vegas, Renee and I, and I could see from my right peripheral a little girl probably about 9 and her mother. And this little girl was only having little myoclonic tics, just very minor. But her mother sought out CBDs. Actually, it was from a dispensary in Las Vegas. And it was suspended in glycerin. And there again, I'm not going to say the name of it. But she administered the CBD, and the tics, the myoclonics, started turning into longer spasms, and then eventually turned into a grand mal that could not be stopped for more than 30 minutes. And the reason is that there again, nobody's doing this with malice. It's only because they don't know. And so people that are educating right now is the most important part, because that little girl didn't know. And in fact, the bud tender was there that sold it to her. And she was sitting behind the mom, and she started crying too, because they just didn't know. So be very diligent and mindful what your CBDs are suspended in. The second thing is MCT oil, and it has its place in the nutrition world. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but MCT, point blank, stands for medium chain triglycerides. If you're drinking 2 milliliters of it a day, you're going to gain weight, number one. Number two, it's going to mess up your entire GI tract, and it is going to exacerbate any symptom that you have eventually. MCT oil is great if you want to spray it for cooking or something like this, but certainly to suspend CBDs in is not an effective way to administer. Body Temple CBDs are suspended in Pure Protein. It's 100% vegan, fat-free, sugar-free, 100% vegan company, and safe for any dietary restriction. So that's what you're looking for, is a CBD that's suspended in pure protein, organic, vegan, and dietary user-friendly.
What are some of the adverse effects, and what is this whole challenge we have with import from China?
Oh my God. Okay, another good question. This makes me really upset. The state of Nevada pulled CBD for pets off and out of dispensaries. And this might be the reason, I don't know, pets have at least twice the receptors that humans do. Yeah. So they're a lot more sensitive to the CBD. And when you get this, there is cheap CBDs out there, and they register as 99% pure, which is beyond me. But they're about a penny a milligram. And it's a synthetic, chemically altered molecule that they're giving to these pets. In George, we have George up in Reno, and he's been on True Pets for a year. He's just for a preventative arthritis. And since we had to pull the pet CBD out of dispensaries, this woman got online, bought a CBD from the internet, gave it to her pet, and his face just swelled straight up. Ended up in taking him into the urgent care. The vet was going to put him down, and they took a syringe of steroids, shot him in the face, and his face went back down. But they almost lost him because of this CBD from China. And it causes arrhythmia. People that have heart issues, you be very careful where your CBDs come from and how they're extracted, because it can be so detrimental if you get your hands on the wrong form of CBD and what it's suspended in.
You know what's crazy? Gosh, I mean, I'm crazy good. When I think of patients and clients that I have and members that are taking it, some that have severe headaches and very severe headaches, severe arthritis. One of my clients sent me a text, and she's like, I just sent her a bottle. I had no idea she had arthritis issues. I've never met her. Lives in the Midwest. And then she sends me this text a month later. She's like, I want to fly out to Portland. I just want to take you to lunch for the day. I want to come over. I want to give you a big hug. And then she shows me the before and after. And you're right. You know, you definitely want to be careful about what you get. When, you know, as a formulator, you talk about purity a lot, pure grade of CBD to ensure purity, and then the actual potency, the product has so much potency, and the word that I'm looking for is concentrated, right? So when you talk about, like, for example, pure CBD, 500 milligrams, there's all these misleading labels, and it's like everything, guys. It's the whole goal sometimes with is manipulating the customer to be confused, and it's actually what we're doing on a high level with pharmaceutical. We start to look at processed food. It's all about keeping people busy. It's this thing right here, and it's like, so people just don't have time to think. But what's so important about labels, and let's talk about the pure CBD and the concentrated product that you put out.
So this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. People, and this is legal. It just blows my mind that they can do this. When I was taken for my $200 down, it said 500 milligrams on the bottle. It said 500 milligrams of cannabinoid, not cannabidiol. So when you look for a label, you need to look for something that says 500 milligrams of pure constituent CBD. The cannabinoids are CBN, CBG, CBC, and even though we need the synergy of full spectrum cannabidiol, which you have through Body Temple, you don't want to be paying for those. Those are not the medicinal property. We need them as a synergy effect, but the leading molecule is certainly the CBD. So it's most important that on that label that you don't look for 500 milligrams, you look for, they say 500 milligrams of what? It could be 500 milligrams of anything. And they're on there, and that's legal. All they have to do is say it has 500 milligrams. That's the first thing. And one of my patients put it to me this way: Sheila, it's money over medicine. And until it becomes medicine over money, these merchants are going to continue to do that. And another thing that they do to get you to spend money, another thing you need to look for before you purchase a CBD is what the flavoring is. A lot of them are using alcohol-based flavors like cinnamon, peppermint, anything that's alcohol-based, because when you administer a tincture, you have to administer it sublingually or underneath your tongue. Well, if you've ever tried to hold peppermint underneath your tongue, it's not very effective because it starts burning, especially if it's an alcohol extract. So you have to swallow it sooner, so you have to take it more, so you have to buy it more often, and it's just a vicious being sublingually into the mucous membrane the way it should, because you can't hold it there long enough.
Tell them why you use vanilla bean. Yeah.
What?
Why you use vanilla bean? Why yours is so easy and tasty?
Yeah. So we actually did a lot of research on this, and the most pleasant and soothing taste to most people is vanilla. So we found a gluten-free vegan vanilla bean powder that we use to put a subtle taste into the bottle. So when you do see the bottle, when you go to purchase your Body Temple formulation, you'll see a little bit of a white powder at the bottom that accumulates there. That's simply the vanilla bean powder. Shake it up real good. In fact, I hold mine up to the light before I even administer it. And then you'll get a real pleasant gluten-free flavor, and you can hold it for your full 2 minutes as dosed.
Fantastic. Well, I know a lot of you are posting questions. I want to make sure that you're posting your questions in the Q&A box, not the chat roll. We won't be able to find those. So you can do that right now. We're going to come right back with Sheila for the Q&A, but we want to make sure you get your free gift. We got some goodies to share with you. And so I'm going to change the share link right over to Miss Audra Angelique. And I'm going to go to
Hi, it's me again.
Yeah. What's happening, girl? Yeah, are you okay, so I guess just got to give you the share link, right?
Yeah, you just got to flip it over to me. And I am, as the host, you're still the host, and then I will put the stuff up. But I wanted to say too, Steve, Um, this is my own ignorance. I didn't realize there was actually a Q&A area. People are starting to do that now. I've been following along with the questions and answering what I can. So I do have a list of stuff to ask Sheila just from the chat roll, if that's cool, and when we do the Q&A.
Absolutely. Okay. Now
I'll have to scroll back, but now that's a lot easier having a Q&A box.
now I just got to find you. Where are you? Okay. Yeah.
All
So
right.
hey, we want to make sure everybody gets their free gifts. We've got 2 gifts. We're going to go ahead and I am not necessarily. Are you sure you can't take access to this?
Yeah, I can't. It says host disabled attendee screen sharing. So right now I'm just still
Well,
an
I'm like,
attendee.
where did you go? Where did you go on my screen?
I
Oh,
know the weird thing when I did it for you earlier, it kind of shifted and looks different than it did when we were
I
practicing.
know, right?
hmm
Okay.
Um, if you go into participants
Yeah, I'm right
and click
there.
that on the side, it should show you, me, Sheila as panelists. There's like a little above the chat roll.
I can't even get into that right now. I don't know what happened. That's just so
Oh
weird.
man. All
I
right.
know. Okay, well, hey, we're going to show you these 2 gifts. I'm kind of scrolling down here to see why I cannot show this. Okay. Well, hey, let's talk about these 2 gifts. And I am, okay, screen share, gone. Thanks for being patient, guys. Yeah.
We'll
Uh,
get better at this as we go, by the way. It'll be seamless in a week.
okay, panelists, there you are. Good. Praise God. I love when this stuff happens. Okay.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Cool. Yes. Okay. So
Yep, there it went. It just flipped
beautiful.
over.
So we've got a couple of gifts for you, and then we're going to do the Q&A. Let's stay with us. Any question goes for Sheila. First of all, I want you to know that all of you have an opportunity to um, play with us in this health makeover package, and it's a pretty cool deal. You can get this health makeover package. It's a $300 value, a 2-part coaching strategy session with a coach about your health. It's an incredible, we'll give you tools. All you got to do is text that number that you see on the screen and we'll take care of you. It's very, very cool. Also, my ebook, How I Diminished Anxiety and Depression Without Drugs. And we're going to go ahead and add that link in just a few minutes right there in the Q&A box. Hey, let's check in for a minute, first of all, though, and see where you're at, how you're feeling. What are your takeaways? Post your takeaways in the chat roll. Jump on over to the Q&A box if you've got specific questions for Sheila. I just want you to imagine it's 12 weeks from today. Your health is greatly improved, or it's absolutely ideal. What do you think you'd feel like? What do you think you'd look like? What would you look like when you looked in the mirror? You know, I love looking at my eyes and noticing I have no inflammation in my eyes. What choices do you think you might have made that would significantly change your health? What if your health shifted because you shifted? You took charge of your health, you took charge of your body, your mindset, your food choices changed, your exercise regimen changed, your supplements changed, you became more educated, you learned immediate, intermediate fasting, you plugged into wellness treatments that were ideal for you. You know, the beginning of the day, that belonged to you. You didn't give anybody the beginning of the day. It became your non-negotiable. You had an ideal meditation and morning ritual that sets you up to be your best throughout the day, make good choices. And what if in 12 weeks, your friends and family were saying, you look great, or you seem so happy, you seem so energetic, or perhaps you might be dealing with a serious health condition and your doctor was shocked. I hear this all the time. They're looking at your blood work and they're saying, what in the world are you doing? Or your blood panels completely changed. It's so improved. Can you imagine that? What if life changed because you changed? It all begins with our thinking, first in thought, then in form, vision being the impulse that pulls us to distinguish what we're capable of, who and what we want to be. You know, what if our body temple team and our coaches were to support you with that? I mean, and it all began by saying yes to that health makeover session. You can plug in, have support. If you're listening live, you're pulled over, all you got to do is send us a text at 503-380-0814. We'll post that again. And Body Temple is a philanthropic movement. Our vision is a world where everybody's energized by life, they're empowered by knowledge, free of physical and emotional and mental burdens. And our mission is to transform the lives of everyone possible by offering customized wellness plans and innovative educational programs, natural products, and our customer care team. We care. We want your experience to be unlike any other experience you've ever had with a wellness company. So my question for you is, have you ever bought a supplement and when the customer service person rang up your purchase, they said, well, you receive an entire 12-week program called Take Charge of Your Health, Body, and Mindset absolutely free. It's a $597 value. And you're like, what? Why? Well, you got 90 days worth of product. And so you get this $597 Take Charge of Your Health, Body, and Mindset program. We created this. Our experts said nobody does that. Well, we know if you are of integrity with what you really need, that would be 25 milligrams of CBDs for 12 weeks. So if you really went the extra mile, you'd have 25 milligrams in your body for 12 weeks. And it will totally transform your physiology. That's why we call this package a total transformation package. You're going to see this in a minute. Everybody, I'm going to tell you, plus everyone will tell you, look great, your skin glows. So your response is going to be 12 weeks, Body Temple. What happened? You look great. What are you doing? Body Temple. So what I want you to understand is the CBD products support your internal health, and the 12-week program we're offering you supports your external health. External meaning everything that's in your realm of control. What does that mean? Your choices, your attitude, your disposition, 12 weeks of product, and 12 weeks of support from our Body Temple team. So we're going to run through this very, very quick. You have an opportunity to get this 12-week program for a 90-day supply of CBD, pure CBD. And so you receive access to our Body Temple library. It contains 12 life-changing trainings, 12 of the greatest decisions you can make to take charge of your health. All 12 trainings are recorded in audio. They're transcribed word for word. You see that right up there on the screen. Distinguish what you want, make a commitment, believe it into existence. 3 simple health habits that will change everything. You are what you put in your body. These are the trainings. Exercise will give you vitality and longevity. Chemical-free supplements are a must. Drive out the toxins. You get the main idea. 12 amazing trainings. The second benefit is you get a customized Take Charge of Your Health strategy session with a Lifeline coach. They're going to do 2 sessions. Those of you that are going to get the health makeover, that's great. But when you have the opportunity to work with a coach for a couple of sessions, they will actually design a map for you. Third benefit, you get your own journal. You get your own study guide throughout the 12 weeks. So we can transform your mindset, transform your choices, have you think differently. Fourth benefit, you're going to receive ultimate support from our Body Temple team. You're going to get a text every week on Monday, and you're going to get an email every week on Monday to keep you plugged in, off the stands, in the court, playing the game that's within your realm of control. Our customer care specialists, they're going to reach out. How you doing? Do you need any support? Fifth benefit, we have a coaching community. That's our Body Temple community. People are going to be posting their challenges, their action items, what their takeaways are. 6, throughout the program, we're going to have a blast. Drawings, contests. It's going to be so much fun. And tonight you can receive Sheila's award-winning Exceed Pure CBD oil and infused pure topical salve at a discount with any purchase you receive. Any purchase you do within any 1-month package purchase, you're actually going to get that salve for free. So Sheila, are you there? Can we actually hear you on audio?
I am now.
Beautiful, baby. Okay, well, we sent everybody an email an hour prior to the webinar with a link leading you to our special offer. I would just look for the email with the subject line. It's you got it about an hour, 45 minutes before the actual event. Those of you that are on will actually post the link and lead you to it. But let's talk about Exceed. We've got 4 options. You can actually either take advantage of the package, or you can take advantage of the individual package. What I want you, or individual item. What I want you to know, if you get a 30-day package or a 3-month package, you're going to get the actual Exceed $49 as a gift. So let's talk. Sorry, Audrey, I'm jumping around. First slide, Exceed. Let's talk about the power of that 1 ounce pure CBD Exceed oil. How, and then elaborate, can you elaborate on that call we had with Beth yesterday? She's had all the success with her health.
Are you referring to, we can't really say names, but yes,
Yeah.
I will absolutely, I get to, I was talking to Steve yesterday, and it's so bizarre because I never get callbacks. You know, you only get a call usually if there's something derogatory, and there's nothing wrong. So they heal so quickly, and so many things go into homeostasis or dynamic balance, which gets them to function properly. This woman has it's lupus, not quite nephritis yet, cutaneous. And so if anybody's familiar with that, you get rashes all over your face and you break out, you can't go to work, you can't go out in the sun. And so she's had no rashes break out. She was on methotrexate and 4 other medications, and she started weaning herself off, unbeknownst to her rheumatologist. And it's so funny because she went back to the rheumatologist and he's gloating, saying, oh yeah, my drugs work so good. The thing is she hadn't taken any in like a month and a half. So all of her ulcers, she was getting ulcers all over her mouth. And she was having the pus come out. It was really super sad because it was so painful. And she has not had any ulcers come out in a month and a half. All of her labs, and for those of you that understand what inflammation is, there's a test. It's a protein reactive test, the CRP. And she was triple the number in the inflammation in her body. And I can't stress this enough. Inflammation in your body is horrifying, and that's what causes most of the issues. Her CRP went down into normal range within 6 weeks. And then also, there's Aaron.
Yeah, we got to roll. There's so much to share. It's amazing what we hear constantly.
I gotta throw in 2 more. I have to, because she did so many things. Her physiology binded with the CB1 and CB2 receptors so quickly. Her anxiety is gone. She sleeps like a baby. She goes to sleep within 10 minutes. She told me. Her migraines. This is a big one. Migraines. She used to have migraines that were debilitating. She would vomit for the first 2 or 3 hours, go into her room, put earmuffs on, lay in her bed for at least 24 hours, if not 48. In the last 6 weeks, she felt one coming on behind her right eye, and she felt it coming on, laid down for 15 minutes, and the migraine headache bypassed her entire system, the N1 neuron, and she was about to went about the rest of her day. She's back to work, and in fact, Steve, I don't know if you know this or not, but because she's been able to go back to work, she's already won with her work. She's already won a cruise to Central America or something. I
know, it's so cool. I'm getting a lot of text messages from people saying, I want to know how to get this because I got to go. And so we're going to roll through this very, very quick. You can get the oil for $150. The cool part about this this 500 milligram of 1 ounce bottle is we created it conveniently for you. So all you got to do is take twice a day. So you take it sublingually, you put it on your nightstand. I want you to meditate in the morning, meditate before you go to bed. Take about 1/4 of the eyedropper. You'll see the instructions come with the product, and you pray over your body. You meditate over your body. You start your day. You end your day with all of your gratitude. Second slide, Infuse. This is Sheila's award-winning product. It's $80 list price. Go ahead and show that, Audra. Thank you so much. For maximum capacity, use a dime full after your morning shower and before you retire for bed. This has been an incredible product. Maybe you can briefly talk about the constituents and why this product, everybody loves it. We can't even keep it in stock. I know we're probably going to run out at this trade show. We're going to be at the gluten-free trade show this weekend, and just scared we're going to go right out of it. It's so phenomenal. Talk about the power of this product. And by the way, if you do get a package, either a 30-day or 90-day package, you're going to get one as a bonus, absolutely free. Sheila?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, talk about the power of this product. Infuse Like Sheila
I'll
said.
say one thing as a
Okay, no,
freaking
no, no, no,
user
no.
of this.
I want to touch on the soluble, you guys. Remember,
Oh, yeah,
sorry
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, do it. Thank
No,
you.
go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
quickly understand that. Remember, the first thing that we're talking about is your CBD is only as good as what it's suspended in, and that goes for every single thing that you buy, whether it's a tincture, a lotion, an eye drop, a mint, or whatever it is that you buy that has CBD in it. Guess what? If it doesn't have a soluble that can be absorbed into your system somehow, then it's not going to deliver the CBD the way that it's supposed to. A lot of these solubles, listen, has anybody taken a B12 where it's a multivitamin, you take it and then your urine is radiation yellow? That's
Used to. Yeah,
yeah.
not anymore.
Yeah. Well, guess what? That's the same thing your CBD is going to do. If it can't be absorbed in your system, it's going to go in one end and out the other. The difference is that the bioavailability in this product is 10 times that of any other CBD that you're going to find on the market because of what it's suspended in. It lasts longer, you have to take less, and it's absorbed 10 times better. That's what the tincture. With the salve, the most important thing about the soluble with that is that it has a kilodalton, or a molecular weight measurement, and what that means is that the soluble is so large that the molecules that are in it can be driven, 4 medications can be driven transdermal into your bloodstream. That is the only one in the entire nation that can do that. That's why it keeps winning so many awards. There are other salves out there on the market that have soluble that might carry 1 or 2, medications transdermal. This is the only one in the entire country that can carry all 4. That's number 1. Number 2, the oils that are in that, the essential oils, we all know how important essential oils are throughout the day. I don't care if it's anxiety or stress or pain, whatever it is, essential oils are also amazing. The oils that are in that are actually coming from the country in which the plant is indigenous. That means that we spend the extra money to go to the harvester in Croatia to import the first press oil, Helichrysum. We in turn go to New Zealand, where the first press oil from Kunzea, the Kunzea plant, comes across first press. So it's 100% pure. Doesn't get any more pure than that. That in combination with the pure CBD and the soluble is suspended in, it drives all 4 of those constituents transdermal and works within minutes, whether it's for pain or anxiety. The last thing about it is that you're going to see a bunch of salves out there. It makes me crazy because I'm in Arizona. There's a lot of areas that are super hot in the summertime. So these manufacturing companies are throwing beeswax in there. So when they ship it, it doesn't melt. Well, I don't know if you've ever put wax on your skin, but guess what? Nothing can soak into your skin. If it's covered in wax, it doesn't go anywhere except for sit on top. It doesn't do anything or go anywhere. So again, your products are only as good as what they're suspended in. You don't want to have any kind of waxy film on your body, and you want something pure, not just the CBDs, but also the essential oils that are suspended in it.
You are a walking advertisement. You just so know your work. It just absolutely blows me away. So today
hey, can I interrupt really quick? We have Trisha over here, and can you add the link, Steve, to the...
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I just added that.
There it is. So it's
Yeah.
right above over here, Trisha. If you look above a couple messages, the special offer, Go Body Temple LLC transformation package, it's there. Some people are saying they've got to go, and they're like,
here's a special offer. I'm gonna do it again.
Thank you.
Right there. And here's the deal. These special prices are good till the end of the Q&A. You're going to receive Sheila's award-winning you're going to receive the actual infuse that you're looking at right now if you end up taking advantage of the package. And we did send you an email prior to the webinar. You can open up that email. The link's in there. Also, Audra, if you can go into the packages, we've got a couple of packages that are available for you. The 1 month, go ahead and show them the 1 month, girl. And that basically, these are the 2 products, the Infuse and the Exceed. You can get that package for $199. If you, the goal here is to be on 25 milligrams of CBD for 12 weeks. And that's why we created this program. You know, those that decide, okay, I'm going to do this for 12 weeks and I'm going to work on my internal, and I'm going to take these two products for 12 weeks. That's why we call it the total transformation package. But then you're also going to have access to our 12-week take charge of your health, body, and mindset program. We're going to start off by, you'll hear from one of our customer care team. They're going to set you up with a coach. I'm happy to work with all of you that if you just want to request me, I will go ahead and work with as many of you as I possibly can. And there, like I said, there are 4 options. Here's the good news. You're going to receive an actual additional Pure CBD SAB $80 value. You can take a 1 month or 3 month package. And that is the goal, 12 weeks of 25 milligrams in your body. And we're going to help you design a wellness program in the next 12 weeks. The whole idea is to take charge of your health, your body, and your mindset. And just know that in 12 weeks, people are noticing a complete difference in you. So if you could post the ebook, Audra, since I don't have, I can't get to my screen, post that in the chat roll, and
Sure,
let's go ahead and go into Q&A. And I think that I hit everything. You'll notice that when you look at that short registration page, for those of you that want some real thorough information, you'll see a long bar that says want more information. If you click on that link, you are going to notice a long version that spells out every possible detail that you need to know about CBD, Sheila's work, our product, our programs, and 4 amazing videos from Sheila on a recent interview that I did with her that covers every facet behind the science of the product. So let's go ahead and bring back Sheila, get some questions answered. Well, she's go ahead and changing the screen share. Sheila, can you talk a little bit about what customers really need to know when, you know, when you're buying a product? Oh God, what was the other one that I wanted to say? Sorry, I think we handled that. Did we talk about misleading labels? I think we kind of went into that a little bit. Can you expand on that?
Well, I think I touched on it pretty well. Besides them being misleading as they are, the other thing is administering and dosing. You have to understand, like Steve was touching on, 25 milligrams repeating total per milliliter for 24 hours in a day. So dosing is the only other thing on the label that you really need to be careful of.
Okay, so I got a couple questions here, and Audra, I'm just waiting for you to bring me back to the screen.
Well, first, I wanted to touch on a really important question somebody's asked several times.
Well, I have all the questions right here, so I just need to, I want them to be able to see us so they can see.
Oh, to see you guys. Okay, got it.
So I have a nephew that is 12 years old, has cerebral palsy, along with other health issues. My sister has talked about potentially using CBD products for him in the past, but hasn't gotten support from his healthcare provider. How can someone go about finding a healthcare provider that will support CBD use or over heavy pharmaceuticals?
That's an excellent question.
Isn't it?
Hi, Mandy. This is my sweet spot. I work at Phoenix Children's Hospital a lot. I administer through caregivers. And there's many different things you can do. First and foremost, there is a philanthropy program arm of Steve's program, and we deal with severe and chronic. With cerebral palsy, there's different types. There's spastic, there's just so many different types. So they would probably ask you questions first: diaplegic, hypertonic, cerebral. There's just so many different types of cerebral palsy. So they would determine that first, go through the program and do a triage form or an intake to see if your nephew is better viable as a candidate for CBD. We do have scientific studies that help to alleviate the symptoms of the spasticity that goes on, the severe chronic pain. So the neurologic disorder of cerebral palsy can definitely be helped through the cannabidiol process, but I would encourage you to call into his toll-free line and ask for a complimentary intake so that we can see if your nephew qualifies for a CBD program. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Can you, I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, there you are. Can you come back so we can see you? Excellent. Gotcha. And Audra, do you mind go ahead and adding the link again, just so people see that in the chat roll? I guess I can do it one more time. Okay. Awesome.
A second, I'm trying
to. Vicky, my husband has been in remission from hairy cell leukemia. For 2 years. I'm looking, that's so great, looking to raise his white blood count or keep it stable. I have slow progressing MS. And can you turn your video on, babe? Sheila?
It's not turning on.
Oh.
It's another button that you guys, I'm more of a...
It's usually down on the bottom. All these.
More importantly, let me try to help with Vicky.
Yeah.
Vicky, we also have scientific studies on leukemia, different types of leukemia. There again, it has to do with the proprietary formulation because we're able to extract the constituent from the entire plant per the ratio of which cannabinoid your patient needs. So for example, for leukemia, it's not necessarily just CBD. In this case, you would need CBD, CBDA, CBG, CBGA, CBGVA. So those are all cannabinoids that when they're worked on in synergy, they then create the ability to create and increase the white blood count. It's a little bit more difficult than the red. Usually we're trying to get white blood cells down, not up. So that's why I'm saying there again, you have to be extremely careful with which CBD you're using and what company you're going through because CBDs are more likely to take down white blood count, not bring it up. So proprietary for that one.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Any question goes, add your questions in the Q&A box. We've got some more left and want to remind you that the special offer on the individual package, individual products goes on till the end of the webinar. And that page is going to change in about 15 minutes. So you can jump in.
The gal, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Steve. The gal asked about MS, slow progressive. I would suggest that she get on your full program because even though MS can't be reversed to that we know of, there's no cure that we know of, but we know that we can reduce the tremors, the coordination. Sometimes there's tingling that goes on or pain in different body parts and weaknesses in limbs. So, and in some cases, vision. If Vicky is having issues with slow progressing MS, I would recommend that she go on your, what is the longest program you have? 3 months?
You know what, I'm going to give you my, I'm going to have you text that number that's on the screen right now, and we're going to jump on a call, and I'm going to tell you that some of you that have severe stuff, it's a different conversation. We are going to have a different conversation because your choices must be narrow. And that means you just got to narrow your choices. Like Robin that has that 4th stage prostate cancer, his tumors are undetectable. It's completely reversed. You wouldn't believe what he looks like. He is rocking life in every area of his life, his faith, his work. He's got his own business and he's working 50, 60 hours a week. He's growing sprouts, everything has changed, but he's been on, you know, we're talking about a more severe situation. And there's nothing that you can completely take sublingually that's going to make some huge results. So if you've got a severe condition, that number that you see on the screen, you're going to reach out and you're just going to say, I want to schedule time with Steve. And I'm going to get you set up and I'm going to take good care of you. So
in the meantime, they need to, some CBD is better than none at all. So they need to get on there no matter what, for sure.
I get it. Absolutely. I'm 100% there. So I'm currently taking CBD Pure, and okay, I could tell you about Pure. That's a long conversation. Purchased online, organic, pesticide-free, third-party testing, suspended and pure. organic hemp oil, 20 milligrams CBD in a daily dose. Can you shed any feedback on this product? It looked great to me in my research. I had some clients that went down that route, and I don't know what I can say and what I can't say. But Sheila, you take it away.
You know, I don't ever talk bad about somebody else's products. I would just say better safe than sorry and use Body Temple. I don't know. From my own experiences, learn from, life's too short to make all the mistakes yourself. And I can tell you, I wasted $400 on product before I figured it out. So that's why we're taking the time to do this webinar, because it's not, don't believe everything you read. I don't know how else to be nice about it.
Jennifer, reach out to me. Anything, we'll do a health makeover package, get your health makeover package, do a couple of sessions, get you taken care of, and also kind of check in to see actually how you're feeling on that product, okay?
Can I interrupt really quick, Steve, real fast? I just wanted to ask you something, and Sheila. Somebody asked quite a while ago, and I don't know if you got to see it because it's not in our Q&A. It's a real simple question to answer. Yeah. It was about hemp oil. The CBD product they're taking now is suspended in hemp oil, and they wondered if that was legit. That was the question, and I thought there might be a lot more we need to know.
Absolutely.
That's the one he's on right now, I think, Jennifer.
Yeah, why don't you talk about that? And hey, real quick, Betty Lynn, you just got your 1 month supply. How do you get your free item? It's automatically shipped, sweetie. It's going to come with your package. Nothing to do. You'll get a call from our customer care team acknowledging you, and then they'll get your product out. We'll take care of you, and you're all obviously will get a health makeover package too. Be sure and send me a text at 503-380-0814. So answer that question about hemp. And also I hear often when I'm working with a government employee or someone that has a job, they have this assumption, this tie with CBDs and marijuana. And if I get blood tested, is there going to be THC in my blood work?
Okay, so, well, let me address one first. First of all, there's nothing wrong with hemp oil if that is where I'm trying to find it, organic hemp oil. There's nothing wrong with hemp oil, but it's the process that the hemp oil, after the hemp oil. So for example, we didn't even touch on this because it's kind of, it's very medicinal, but hemp oil still is not going to have the bioavailability that the soluble that Body Temple has. The reason is because we go through a process called liposomal encapsulation technology. And what that is the newest form, newest studies, newest research to have a constituent absorb into your system at the highest rate possible with the smallest size particle. So not only do you have liposomal encapsulation technology, you also have nanotechnology that goes into it. So it's available to cross the blood-brain barrier. So that's why it's not just the hemp seed oil. There's nothing wrong with that. But take it 2 steps further, like Body Temple does through the liposomal encapsulation, as well as nanoparticle. That's why it absorbs so well into your system through the bioavailability process. So that's that.
And how about the whole understanding for people that are actually with they're in a government job or a job that get tested? And I don't know the answer. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, and that's a really good question, because we certainly, we have enough people out there that are taking opioids and Oxycontin that can drive school buses. So
I know, what's that about?
Awesome. Wow. So why? Yeah, you can take Neurontin and all that stuff. Okay, so the thing with the constituents that we have are less than 0.03% constituent with the D9 molecule in it. So what that means is that it's not detected in hair, blood, skin. So the answer to that question is no, it's not going to affect your a drug test now.
Fantastic. Well, we are out of time. I know the live cast is going to go away in just a few minutes. I do want to share with you that if you have not looked at that page, you're going to notice that those of you that really want to get educated, click on that link or save that link. You should have all gotten an email. Some of you just maybe got the webinar link directly to Zoom. All you got to do is go to the chat roll. And Audra, maybe we can do that right now, just for a minute. Just go ahead and post this last minute link to the offer. And you'll notice that in that link, are you doing that, sweetie?
Yeah, I will do it.
Beautiful. And you can copy that and paste that. So when this goes away, you can study that page. And you'll notice that there's a long bar at the bottom that says click here for more information. It's wiggling around and you will see multiple videos and education on CBD. So we created a very long page to educate people on the power of CBDs. You'll see 4 recorded webinar or videos from Sheila on details of the exclusive interview that we had with her while she was in Portland, Oregon. And then you'll also see the special pricing on the packages, the 2 packages. And remember, you get the whole take charge of your health, body, and mindset package if you end up getting a 90 or 3-month supply. You can do a 3-pay as well with that. And if you want the health makeover, or you want to just talk to a coach, you just want to talk to a coach about some of your conditions, get some of your questions answered about the product, all you got to do is send a text to me at 503-380-0814. Audra, I want to thank you for an incredible slideshow, putting this all together. Sheila, amazing as always. Sheila, do you have any last minute words you want to share with our listeners before we retire? There you go. You came right back.
I know. I found the button.
There you go.
Just be mindful and give your body a break. Take your time. It takes a long time for us to get to where we are, over a number of decades for some of us. And so keep in mind, CBDs are a binding process, not a blocking process. So it's not something that will happen tomorrow. It's not going to block the pain today. It might take 2 or 3 days. It could take 60 days. So give your body a break and give it some time. And God bless.
You're looking young, girl. Look at that skin. You know?
It's the cream.
Will you tell the story of, one night you go into bed and you were tired and you didn't want to take off your makeup. It was late and you took the actual, it's right here. You took the salve and you put it on your face, and the next.
Well, no, what I did was I put it, you're supposed to put, for anxiety, you put it on your wrist and you put it right here and behind your ears. And so I was doing that and I put it on here and I was so tired. I just rubbed it all over my whole face and went to bed because I didn't want to do the whole routine. And then I woke up and I felt like I had a facial.
It's so funny that you said that, because I wanted to put it on my face and I was like, I feel like when my skin was so dry the other day because it got really cold here, so now I'm so glad you told me I can put it on my face and it'd be totally cool. I'm doing that now. That's my new moisturizer for my face.
Why not? I'm gonna put it on my butt and see if my butt gets as soft as a baby's butt. Did I say that?
Maybe it'll help with your hemorrhoids.
It's gotta find somebody to touch it, right? Oh my God.
Just put it right.
We're live, right? We're live.
Have somebody.
A little humor. Hey, we gotta have a little humor, right? And we gotta be a little weird, right? Well, hey, all of you. Sheila's like, oh, Steve, please. Well, I want to thank all of you for joining us. Hey, will you do me a favor? Will you do your friend a favor? Will you do your relative a favor? When you get that replay Monday, spread the good news. I want you to think about people this weekend. Have it in your heart right now that you're going to receive guidance from the universe, the Holy Spirit, of somebody that you know is going through some challenging health issues. Because I can't imagine my vitality be taken away. And think about what people are feeling, man, when they're going through these challenges. I didn't even know this about Mandy's son. And you know what? What I've realized when people want to know more information, I look at them and I say, I'm going to send you a video that's going to be so much more worth your time. I don't even try to explain it because she does such an eloquent job explaining it. So think of 5 or 10 people that you can spread the good news with on Monday when you get this replay. If you have any questions, you got the text here, reach out to our support team. at support@bodytempleLOC.com. Have a beautiful weekend. Many blessings to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care. Bye.